If you've ever sat down to visualize your dream, seeing yourself pregnant, holding your baby, rocking them in the quiet of the night, and felt so alive in that moment, only to wake up weeks later, months later, years later, and realize nothing has changed. I want you to know this: you're not alone and you're not doing it wrong. Most women over 40 who come to me have tried visualization at some point. They've read the books, followed the guided meditations, even made vision boards, and yet the dream still feels out of reach. Today, I'm going to explain why visualization sometimes works like magic and sometimes it doesn't work at all, especially for women over 40. And more importantly, I'll show you how to use it in a way that removes the static that might be distorting your intention so you can align with the outcome you truly desire or something even better. Visualization is powerful, not because the universe is checking your mental picture and matching it exactly, but because it changes your state of being. When you create a vivid image of your dream, your brain doesn't know the difference between something you imagine and something that's really happening. Think about the last time you watched a really good movie. You know the characters aren't real, you know you're sitting on your couch or in a theater, but your body reacts as if it's happening to you. If it's a love story, your heart flutters during the kiss scene. If it's a suspenseful thriller, your muscles tense, your palms sweat, your heart races. If it's a sad scene, you might even cry, even though you know it's fiction. And that's because your brain isn't making a distinction between the imagined experience on the screen and a real life event. It's triggering the same biochemistry, releasing dopamine when you feel joy, oxytocin when you feel connected, adrenaline when you feel scared. Visualization works the same way. When you create a vivid image of your dream, your brain starts releasing the chemicals that match that imagined experience. Those chemicals tell your body, this is happening, and your nervous system responds accordingly. And here's the important part: your body listens to those chemical messages. Your nervous system responds, your reproductive system responds. The women I've seen get the most out of visualization aren't necessarily the ones with the clearest picture. They're the ones who can consistently live in the feeling that picture evokes. For example, one of my clients used to visualize herself walking on the beach holding her toddler's hand. She could feel the sun, hear the waves, smell the salt in the air. But what really mattered was the deep calm and joy that came over her in that scene. That state of being was what signaled her body it's safe to create life. So, if it's that simple, why does it fail so often? Well, for women over 40, there's a common factor. I call it static. You might see yourself holding your baby, but somewhere in your body, a voice is whispering, what if it's too late? What if my eggs are too old? What if I'm wasting precious time? This is more than just negative thinking. This is your nervous system trying to protect you from disappointment. It's scanning for danger. And unfortunately, it interprets uncertainty, even the uncertainty of waiting for your dream, as danger. That static changes the signal you're sending. You think you're broadcasting calm, trust, and joy, but underneath the surface, you're also broadcasting fear, doubt, and urgency. Imagine trying to listen to your favorite song on the radio, but there's static crackling through every note. The melody is still there, but it's distorted, unclear, frustrating to listen to. And that's what happens when you try to visualize from a place of fear disguised as hope. Your visualization might look perfect in your mind, but your nervous system is sending out a completely different message. I'm desperate. I'm running out of time. I'm afraid this won't work. The issue is that the body will always prioritize safety over creation. If your body doesn't feel safe, reproduction is one of the first functions it dials down. When you're in a state of chronic stress about your fertility, worrying about your age, comparing yourself to other women, feeling pressure about timelines, your body interprets this as a threat to your survival. And a body under threat doesn't feel safe enough to create new life. Women over 40 face a specific type of static that younger women don't deal with. There's the cultural messaging that you're running out of time. There's the medical focus on age-related fertility decline. There's often the regret of, I should have done this sooner. All of this creates an underlying frequency of urgency and fear that can interfere with even the most beautiful visualization practice. I've worked with women who could create stunning mental images of their future family, but the moment they opened their eyes, anxiety flooded back in. That was nice, but back to reality. I'm 43 and still not pregnant. There's another layer to this, the trying too hard trap. Sometimes the visualization itself becomes another thing you're trying to get right. You start monitoring whether you're doing it correctly, whether you're feeling the right emotions, whether it's working fast enough. This turns visualization into a performance rather than a practice. And performance energy, the energy of trying to do something perfectly, is the opposite of the receptive, trusting energy that supports conception. Now, here's something that might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if your dream is laser focused on holding your baby. Everything in your life is energy, including your baby. Your baby is not just a physical being. They are a frequency, an essence, a unique energy you can connect with right now, even before they are in your arms. Think about when you fell in love with your partner, or even when you imagined the kind of partner you wanted before you met them. It wasn't just about having someone, anyone, standing next to you. It was about the way they made you feel safe, cherished, seen, alive, loved. Without that emotional energy, the relationship wouldn't have had the same meaning, no matter how attractive or perfect on paper the person was. It's the same with your baby. You may think you're longing for the physical child, but really, what you want is the energy they represent. And here's what's important to understand. What a baby represents is different for every person. For some women, a baby represents unconditional love. For others, it's deep purpose or meaning. Maybe it's a sense of family completion or creative fulfillment or the joy of nurturing new life. Maybe it's healing from your own childhood or carrying on family traditions or simply the profound experience of creating life. If a baby automatically made someone happy, every mother in the world would be happy. But we know that's not true. Some mothers struggle with postpartum depression. Some feel overwhelmed or isolated. Some find motherhood different than they expected. The women who thrive in motherhood are usually the ones who understand what energy they're seeking through that experience. And they've learned to cultivate that energy in other areas of their life as well. They're not depending on the baby to provide something they cannot access any other way on their own. And this is why it's so important to get clear on what your baby represents for you specifically. What feeling are you hoping to experience through motherhood? What energy are you calling in? Because that energy, that feeling, is what you want to start embodying now. When you visualize, most people focus on the thing, the pregnancy test, the crib, the tiny clothes, the moment of birth, the baby. But those are symbols. The real creative power comes from connecting with the energy those things represent. Think about it this way. If you focus only on the image of holding a baby, but you're not connected to the energy of motherhood, you're essentially trying to manifest a prop for a movie you're not really ready to star in. But when you connect with the energy, the feeling of being a mother, the essence of what that means to you, then you're aligning with the fullness of what you're calling in. You're becoming the woman who naturally attracts that experience. So why does this matter? Because the thing can only come into your life if your energy is aligned with it. If your energy is full of doubt, urgency, and fear, the signal is distorted, like trying to listen to a beautiful song through static and crackling noise. So instead of gripping the picture of the baby, focus on embodying the feeling of what your baby's presence means to you. Love, safety, fulfillment, peace, purpose. Those are energies you can live in today. And they are the same energies your baby will recognize when they're ready to come in. This shift changes everything about how you approach visualization. So instead of trying to create a perfect mental movie of your future, you start asking, what does this dream feel like in my body? How can I live in that feeling right now? Maybe the energy of motherhood feels like deep nurturing. So you start nurturing yourself and others more consciously. Maybe it feels like protective love, so you start creating more safety and boundaries in your current life. Maybe it feels like creative joy, so you start expressing your creativity in new ways. When you live in the energy of your desire, you're not waiting for your life to begin when the baby arrives. You are already living the essence of what you want, which makes you magnetic to the physical manifestation. Now, what if you're listening to this and thinking, but Julie, I do have a lot of doubt. I can't just switch that off. First, please note, doubt doesn't mean you're broken. Doubt is simply a sign that your nervous system isn't fully on board yet. And it's completely normal, especially if you've been on this journey for a while, especially at your age when you're dealing with cultural messages about fertility and time. The mistake most women make is trying to push doubt away or pretend it's not there. That actually creates more static because now you're fighting with yourself on top of everything else. So here's what you can do when doubt creeps in. First, acknowledge it without judgment. The worst thing you can do is pretend it's not there. Say to yourself, I notice that the doubt is here right now, and that's okay. Doubt doesn't mean I'm doing this wrong. And second, separate the doubt from your truth. Doubt is a thought pattern. It's not a prophecy. It's your mind trying to protect you by preparing for disappointment. You can acknowledge it without letting it drive your decisions. Third, return to the energy, not the details of the picture. If the picture of holding your baby feels painful today, focus instead on something that gives you the same emotional frequency. Maybe it's being with a loved one, a walk in nature, or remembering a time you felt deeply loved and safe. Fourth, use doubt as information. What is the doubt trying to protect you from? Usually it's trying to protect you from disappointment or feeling out of control. Once you understand what it's trying to do, you can address the underlying need without letting it sabotage your visualization practice. For women over 40, there are specific doubts that come up. Am I too old? Did I wait too long? Should I have done this years ago? When these doubts arise, remind yourself, your soul chose this timing. Every year of your life has been preparing you for motherhood in ways you couldn't have understood when you were younger. Your age is not a mistake. It's part of your perfect preparation. One of my clients used to visualize her dream baby every night, but she told me, Julie, I feel like I'm trying to trick myself, like I'm trying to fake it until I make it. Deep down, I just don't believe it's going to happen. So we just stopped focusing on the baby image for a while. We just dropped that completely. Instead, we focused on the feeling that image gave her, the safety, the love, the connection. We found other ways to feel that in her daily life, time with her partner, moments in nature, creative projects. She anchored the state without needing the picture, and she was able to get pregnant naturally at 42. She told me that it happened when she stopped gripping so tightly to how it had to happen. The visualization hadn't failed her earlier. It had just been so clouded by too much static. Once she cleared the interference and learned to live in the frequency of her desire, everything shifted. If this resonated with you, the best next step is my free 40+ heart womb checklist. It shows you exactly where to start shifting into that fertile magnetic state without the static. And if you're ready to go deeper, my Heart Portal Foundation Circle is a systematic process for clearing interference, regulating your body, and living in the state of being that makes conception possible. It's not random tips here and there like you'll get online or from books. It's step by step in the right order so your mind and body can fully align. We work with visualization as part of a complete approach that addresses the physical, emotional, and energetic aspects of fertility after 40. Download your checklist using the link below, and you'll see exactly how to join the Heart Portal Foundation Circle if you feel ready. Remember, your baby is energy. Align with that energy and you invite them in. And sometimes the life that arrives along with them is even more beautiful than you could have imagined. Tomorrow, I'm releasing a brand new podcast episode that takes this even deeper. We'll walk step by step through how to connect with your baby's energy right now, even before they're in your arms, and how to keep that connection strong, no matter what's happening around you. I'll guide you through simple daily practices, so this isn't just something you understand in your mind, but something you actually feel in your body. So after you watch this, make sure you check back tomorrow for the episode or subscribe to the podcast so it finds you as soon as it's live.